Hello, everyone. Let's go ahead and get class started. What I want you guys to do right now is take the next 6 to 8 minutes, work on the warm up, make sure that you guys are collaborating, talking to each other and working with each other. Once the time is up, I'm going to go over the problem so you can check your work. So for now, go ahead and pause the video. All right, so hopefully you guys did an amazing job. I'm gonna go over the warm-up just so you can see how it's supposed to be done. So this question is asking you to find the vertex of the quadratic function. Yesterday, we went over how to do that. Now, remember that this is in the form of f of x is equal to 8x squared plus bx plus c, which means it's not giving us the axis of symmetry and it's not giving us the vertex. So we're going to have to find it algebraically. The first thing we want to do is identify our a, our b, and our c value, which in this case would be -3, -6, and -7. Now, to be able to find the vertex, we first need to find the axis of symmetry. And we can do that by using the formula x is equal to -b over 2a. Now, remember, go ahead and put parentheses around the b and around the a, and let's go ahead and rewrite the whole formula again. So now we're going to have negative parentheses over 2 parentheses. And now all we got to do is plug in b and plug in a. Well, we know b is just -6. And we know a is just -3. And now let's just do the math. Notice that now we have negative times -6 on the numerator, which is going to give us +6. And we have 2 times -3 on the denominator, which is going to give us -6. Now we got +6 divided by -6, which is equal to -1. So our axis of symmetry is equal to -1. Now, to find the rest of your vertex, we're going to go ahead and use the original function, which is f of x is equal to -3x squared minus 6x minus 7. All right. So now what I want you guys to do is same thing. Let's go ahead and put parentheses around the x. And let's rewrite the formula again. So now we got -3 parentheses square minus 6 parentheses minus 7. And you're going to be using our h value. We're going to use the axis of symmetry. That's going to be our input. So let's go ahead and plot that in for x. And at this point, what I want you guys to do is simply just go ahead and put all of that into the calculator. And you should get f of x is equal to -4. So when we put those together, remember your vertex is your x comma y, which in this case, this is your x. And this is your y. So the vertex for this quadratic function is -1 comma -4. All right. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go into the note taker, take some notes. So go ahead and take a pause. Make sure that you have the notes in front of you before starting the next part of the video. All right, let's go ahead and continue the lesson. So this is going to be 8.3 quadratic functions in standard form. This is part 2. Last class, we went over how to find the y-intercept, the axis of symmetry, and the vertex. Today, we're going to use all of that to be able to graph a quadratic function in standard form. They should look very familiar because it's also on your notes from last class. So let's take a look at example 1. We are being asked to graph the function f of x is equal to 2x squared plus 12x plus 12. So the first thing we're going to do is find the axis of symmetry. And we're going to do that by using the formula x is equal to -b over 2a. And remember, always put parentheses around b and a. Now that we know that, let's go ahead and rewrite the formula without using B and A. And let's identify our A, B, and C. So we know that our A is 2, our B is 12, and our C is also 12. So now let's just go ahead and plug things in. We know that our B value is going to be 12. So I'm going to replace this by 12. And I know that our A value is 2. So I'm going to replace it by 2. And at this point, let's just go ahead and do the math. On the numerator, you're going to have negative 12. And on the denominator, you got 2 times 2, which is just 4. Now we got negative 12 divided by 4, which is just negative 3. So we know that our axis of symmetry is negative 3. The next thing we got to do is we got to find your vertex. And remember, to be able to find your vertex, all you need to do is use the initial function, the original function we started with, which is 2x squared plus 12x plus 12. And remember, we are going to be putting parentheses around the x. And let's rewrite the function again. So now we got 2 parentheses square plus 12 parentheses plus 12. And what are we going to do? Well, we're going to take that axis of symmetry and we're going to replace it for every x that we see. Okay, you're going to put all of that into the calculator and you should be getting negative 6 as an answer. So that means that your vertex is negative 3, which is your x value, comma, negative 6, which is your y value. All right, so we just found the most important point. We're gonna go ahead and plot that into our graph. So if we look at the XY plane, I'm gonna start from the middle and I'm gonna go to negative 3 comma negative 6, which means I'm gonna go 3 to the left and then down 6, which is right there. And I'm actually going to be using blue. Okay. So again, you're going to start from the middle, go 3 to the left, and then down 6 to find your vertex. Now, remember from last week, to be able to find the rest of the points, you're going to be using your pattern. And the pattern is going to be 1, 3, 5. Now, what are we going to do with that pattern? We're going to take our A value, which in this case we know is 2. And we're going to multiply our pattern by 2. All right, well, we get 1 times 2, which is 2, 3 times 2, which is 6, and 5 times 2, which is 10. And remember, our pattern is always going to be over 1. Now, how are we going to use that pattern? We're going to use that pattern to find more points. So starting from your vertex, we're going to use 2 over 1. So starting here, we're going to go 1, 2 over 1. And put a dot. And we're also going to do the same thing, but to the left. 1, 2, and 1 to the left, and put a dot. Next, we're going to use the second pattern, which is 6 over 1. And we're going to start it from the new points. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over 1, and put a dot. And then again on the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over 1 to the left, and then put a point. Now the next one would be 10 over 1, but if I use 10, I'm going to go off the graph. So those are the only points I'm gonna plot. So at this point, all we got to do is connect the dots, and there's your quadratic function. So this is how you're going to be graphing a quadratic function in standard form. And that's what you're going to be focusing on right now. What I want you guys to do is go ahead and turn the page over. And I want you to take about 6 to 8 minutes and go ahead and try to replicate what we just did. Graph the quadratic function by using your notes. Go ahead and pause the video And after 6 to 8 minutes, unpause it so you can see the solution and check your work. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you guys had some good conversations and helped each other. So this is the answer for question number 2. Notice my axis of symmetry is 2. My vertex is 2, 1. And my pattern, since my A value is negative, that means because it's negative, instead of going up, I'm going to go down. So your function should be looking down. All right. So again, if you need to go back to these videos, just come back to those videos and rewatch them. They're going to be on YouTube. What I want you guys to do next is we're going to go on a scavenger hunt. So let me show you guys how the scavenger hunt is going to look like. All right, so welcome back. So this is how the scavenger hunt is going to look like. Now, the scavenger hunt is going to be in an orange paper and it's posted around the room. You guys kind of already know how it works. The sub is going to give you an answer sheet. That's where you're going to write your answers. She also has the key so she can help you in case you're stuck and you don't know where to go next. She has the answer key. You're going to start on whichever problem you want. It doesn't really matter which one it is. You can start on 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't matter. So you're going to be graphing the function that is on the top. You're going to graph that on your paper, find the axis of symmetry, find the vertex, use the pattern. Whenever you finish graphing that function, you're going to go look for the graph on another paper. Remember, the graph that is on the bottom is not the answer to the question. That is the graph. That is the answer to another question. So whenever you find the answer to the graph on the top, you got to look for that graph somewhere else. We have done this before. If there's people confused, please help them out and show them how to do it. But other than that, that is all I got for you guys today. When you guys finish, go ahead and turn in the paper to the sub. This will count for points. So you got to make sure that you turn it in. Please stay working, stay actively engaged, and please help each other. Other than that, we will see you on Friday.